Hi.
Hello. Story number 5.
Yes.
What's the title?
The life you save may be your own. Shall be your own.
Shall be.
Shall be your own.
All right. What's it about?
Okay, so basically it's about these two women, this 30-something-year-old daughter and her mother. They're both named Lucy now, and this guy named Tom Shiflett. So basically, Lucy now, the younger, the daughter, is like a deaf mute. She's mentally handicapped, and the mother takes care of her. Basically, one day they have like this man, Tom Shiflett, wandering around. He has only has one arm, and he's like talking about the sunset. And they get to talking, and they're like, okay, let's talk about I think she asked him where you're from or what you do or something. And he's like, oh, how do you know if I'm not lying if I tell you? And then he tells oh, I'm a carpenter, yada yada. And then he's like, do you guys drive? Since he sees this car, unused car, and she's like, oh no, hasn't worked for 15 years since my husband died. And then he's like, okay, well, great. And then they keep talking, and she's like, okay, well, I'll offer you money and a place to stay if you can do some work for me. So he stays, and she's like, okay, well, you'll stay in the unused car. And so he does that, and he's, she obviously kind of hints at, she asks him if he's unmarried. She's obviously kind of trying, or hoping that he'll take a liking to her daughter. And they end up, talking, and he teaches her how to say a couple words, the mute daughter. And, I think it's one word, birdie or something weird like that. And, so after that, she basically asks him, the mom asks him, to marry her daughter, and he's like, I don't have any money, so I can't do that. And she's like a deaf mute. She will not know the difference if you don't have money. And she's argues with him, and she's like, okay, well, I'll fix the car so you can go down to the courthouse. I'll give you money so you can fix the car, so you can take it down to the old courthouse, and you can marry her, and then I'll pay for you to have a modest wedding, basically. And so he so basically he agrees to that, and he goes and gets married to her, but he's unsatisfied with the wedding. He's this is not a wedding, this is just some lady in an office that gives you some paperwork and then says you're legally married or whatever. It's binding and not a real love marriage or whatever. And so then he takes her on the honeymoon, Lucy now, and they're driven out pretty far a ways by this point, and he stops at this restaurant basically, and she falls asleep on the corner, and he buys her food and tells the guy at the counter to give it to her, and is she's a hitchhiker, I can't wait, I have to go, and leaves her there, which is freaking crazy. This deaf mute poor girl is gonna be terrified for her life. Her mom, after leaving them, was obviously very sad to see her go since they'd never been parted, and she was expecting to see her back in 2 days, and obviously, it doesn't really tell you how the daughter got home, but I don't think she did. And then basically it keeps going with his journey, and he keeps driving, and he picks up this hitchhiker young boy who has a suitcase, and they get talking. He tells him all about his amazing mom who he loves so much. The worst thing ever was leaving his mom. He's tearing up at it, and the boy's super uncomfortable, and he gets really mad. He's you know what, my mom's super shitty person, and your mom's great. And he jumps out of the car, and I was just what is happening in this story? That's basically how it happened. That was basically the whole thing, and I was just wow, okay, it's a lot. Yeah.
Totally. Are there a couple of moments that you could tell about in greater detail?
Yeah, I think the most important moments of the story were one, how much Lucy now, the mother, trusted this man from the start. At first she's kind of thinking he's a homeless man, and she's why are you on my property, looking at the sunset with no arm? She's weirded out. And then they get to talking, and right from the whole moment where he's even if I was lying, you wouldn't know, and then tells her, she just trusts him, and she's well, you're great, you come work for me, come live with me. And that was weird for me, because I was what, you're just asking this a random dude with one arm that you found that is walking by your property, come live with you and work for you. And the fact that I honestly think she wanted to marry him off to her daughter, and after him and her daughter had like him working, like him teaching her like a couple words, and like, I mean, maybe she did, like the girl probably did, Lucy now, the younger one, probably, I mean, I think at least took a liking to him, because, I mean, she never had male attention from anyone. Like, she only been with her mom, so, like, the attention, of course, was, like, she was loving that, like, having someone there that was, like, paying attention to her that wasn't just her mom. But I really think that Lucy now, the mother, wanted to marry off her daughter because she wanted, like, someone around to talk to. Because, like, she really didn't get that. Like, her daughter, as much as she loved her, like, couldn't talk, couldn't hear. Like, there was no company that her like, husband had died 15 years before. And, like, she's 33 now and, like, on her own. And she was, like, I think that she just set her up with this guy and wanted to trust him so fast because she was, like, I don't have anyone around. Like, I want him to be around all the time. So then, like, there'll be a better dynamic in this area. And then, I mean, obviously, it's just more on just the side of goodness, which is, like, she trusted him so fast, and he used her, took her money, took her car, left her daughter, like, at this random shop, like, when he knows, like, she has no way of mentally figuring out how to get back home or to get anywhere. She's, like, completely incapable. So I just thought that was, like, really horrible. And I also thought it was really weird and interesting how it, like, kind of almost stopped that story. It was like over, and then it was like this kid, and like this weird one where he keeps driving past these signs that say like, "Be careful, the life you save may like shall be your own, like maybe your own." And like this guy gets in the car, and it was just so weird for me to end on that, like him talking about his mother and how like great she was, and I was just like, wow, like these are just like two totally different stories being put together. So that was really interesting.
And I know this isn't part of our sort of 4 questions, but do you have any idea of like why, like what effect that had for the readers? Why Flannery O'Connor would do that, basically?
I think that it
That's my best friend.
We're finishing a recording for English class.
Yes, they had a Rob Bother, my English
Say
teacher.
hi.
Hi Rob, thanks for helping me with my my college essays.
Hooray! Would you mind waiting in the waiting room until we finish? Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
What did you? I'm sorry, my brain is totally.
I'm
lost
sorry.
one.
Saying so, like, why would Flannery O'Connor do that as an author? Like, what would the point be?
Well, I thought it was just really interesting. I almost thought like that. It was supposed to be like the greater part of the story was not about the two girls. It was about like his life. I thought that maybe like she thought that the focus was maybe too much on like.
Oh, bless you.
Sorry. That she was trying to like drift the focus on like this is like more about him and not on them. But I also thought it was like interesting because I thought it kind of showed the different sides to him as a person because it was like this moment where he's like, you think he's a good guy, you really do, like he's there, he's helping, he's building things, fixing things, like he doesn't even want to marry her because you feel like he can't like support her in a way that he thinks he should. And then, you know, you think that he actually does care about her, and he's like, oh, like, wow, like, he's going to take this because he really does want to be here for them, and, like, that's great. And then you kind of, if the flip side, which I think is, like, I mean, everybody has, like, flip sides to them, but, like, it was interesting that his flip side was, like, that he was completely using her and that he was really a total faker about everything about it. And then you see him get in his car and have this emotional moment where he's, like, crying, and he's, like, you know, like, that's my mom's most amazing woman. I'm so sad I had to leave her. And it's just really weird to get to see this, like, sweet, then you see, like, this totally bitter, horrible human being. And then you see, like, him crying and being like, wow, like, and in, like, this moment of, like, love for somebody. I don't know, I just thought that it was really interesting that she was trying to really show him in all different ways as a person. Yeah.
And what would you say the theme or sort of overarching ideas from this story were?
I think the theme was honestly just like how, well, first I think a lot of her themes is just like you can't not judge someone by the first look of what you see. Or even the first impression that you get from them, because it changes. People have so many different sides to them and so many different things going on, and you really cannot trust your first judgment on somebody as that's who they are, because there's no way to judge that. People are so complicated. The way just like your brain is wired, the way everything works, like there's no way to be able to say that that's like what you're seeing right in front of you is like who that person is exactly. And I think that it was really interesting that, I mean, I think the overarching theme was just like the different sides to different people that you really have to pick apart, or that you don't even see, or would never expect just from first glance. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was also seen in like Good Country People when he just takes her leg. It's like, you know, this good, honest Christian man, like you really cannot. You had like the porn cards and stuff, and like cigarettes, like didn't even believe in God, and like, you know what I mean, like you just cannot look at someone or even what they say to you and think that that's really truly who they are as a person. There's a lot more to that.
Totally. Yeah, and how would you connect this story to your own life in some way?
I really don't know. I mean, I think the only way that I connected to this story was just thinking about like, I mean, this got me thinking about like how I look at people and what I think from people around me just like first glance, like what I thought about that person, even people that are like really good friends now, and like my first impression of them and being like, wow, that's like not even them at all. It's like completely altered because you really don't know a person when you first see them. And I think like it's even interesting because like even me myself have so many different sides to me that people see or don't see. And I mean, I obviously don't know what people see when they first see me, but like the story just kind of made me think about that and how really you don't know people around you until you like you get way deeper than just what you see or what they tell you. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about this one?
Nope.
All right. Nice work.